Hey everybody, welcome back. We've got a few things for you today that our friends and community has reported to us, and we're going to talk about that. One of them is escheatment. Escheatment.
Yes, yeah. The bank can take your money.
The bank can take your money, 100% for real. No joke. It has happened to us. The auto repo market is exploding, according to Barron's. We'll get into that a little bit. And I'll talk about some anecdotal evidence that I've been seeing.
Yep.
But why don't you talk
And the real
about
estate, I want to talk about a little bit of a trickle-down effect that I'm seeing a little bit more from the community. This isn't just Chris and I. This is the community. Every time I talk to you guys and we get out there and just speak to people what we're learning.
She gets a lot of information from you guys on the phone.
Which I love.
It's the best. It's the best news. Community news is the best news.
Yep. And by the way, Miss June, this hat's for you because she calls in to make sure I'm wearing a hat. So it happened to us here a while back regarding banks and them taking your funds. Well, they didn't quite take the funds yet, but I didn't realize how close we were. So apparently, a savings account, for example, many of you guys have savings accounts that just sit there sometimes and you don't touch them. And mainly, it seems like older people. So if you guys have parents, you need to check on them right now when you listen to this, see if they have a savings account sitting there with no activity. So we had one that had no activity for about a year. All of a sudden, I went to get online for our bank account, because I do pay our bills through that way. I know people don't like it, but I do. It's easy. It's quick for me. And our savings account was gone. So I called the bank. I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, you went dormant. You did not use this account for a year, so therefore it went dormant. There is a law, and thanks to Pam and Charles, you guys are the ones I was talking to you guys, and you're like, oh, hey, that's a law. I was like, what are you talking about? And it's called escheatment. I think that's how you say it. It's escheatment, and it is actually on the books. For every state, there is a different time period. And we'll do this link if you don't mind in the description or something. But basically, it's where if your account lays dormant, they have the right after a certain time period to go in and get your savings account, your checking account, potentially property, assets, even a check that is not cleared. And it states bank account inactive for a period of time, the state can claim your funds. And go on that sheet and you can see which state that you're in. I think ours was like 3 to 5 years or something like that. There was another subscriber that called in. He had a friend that actually had happened to. The state actually took his funds and it took him a year to fight and get it back.
If you die without a will and your stuff goes to the state, good luck. You're going to have to jump through hoops and everything else because they want it all, you know. And this is only going to get worse as we get into it. So that would be a solution.
Absolutely. Well, they state clearly in that escheatment thing, the law or whatever you want to call it, it's on the books. They state the bank is responsible for reporting unclaimed property. And they said properties that have no beneficiary, if you die, it automatically goes to the state. The state sells it off. They pay for different things and they're in the state, whatever the budget or whatever. But this includes cash that are received and not cashed. So I just think
Cash that is received and not cashed.
So checks. I'm sorry, checks. Sorry, my bad.
That's all right.
So sometimes, some people you've mailed a check to that's never cashed it or it was never received. It got lost in the mail. We just had one happen the other day.
We've had We've had major check problems. We've had people send us checks that we never got.
Yep.
One of them was a month and a half late and it had been opened. That 2 of them have been opened and repackaged and sent to us. I don't know what's going on with mailing checks right now, but snail mail's not the way to do that. I can't believe people are still mailing checks. We're sending people to Mars just about, and we're still doing snail mail. But anyway.
Well, I even had a tracking number, and I still have a check now that's out there somewhere, and I have know where it is. I have a tracking number. They cannot find it, so I had to put a stop funds because if not, then the state can actually claim that check if it's never cashed. So it's just little things like that just are flying under the radar that you don't think about that. So thanks again, Pam and Charles, for letting me guys know about this. Hopefully we can bring awareness to this and people can pay attention to it.
Yeah,
so
get some of your money out of the bank. Somebody told me the other day they had most of their wealth in a brokerage. I thought, oh, that's having most of your wealth in one spot is a true gamble.
Yeah, a lot of things are gambles these days. It's a lot of speculation. It's an interesting world we're living in.
That's why you got to spread it out.
Yep. All right, so the next thing I kind of wanted to hit on just a little bit is real estate. So I'm hearing a lot of trickle-down effects from what's going on in the real estate world, and all you guys are seeing it. I'd love to hear what you guys are seeing because I think that's what's really happening in the market versus just what you see on the news. Would you not agree, probably?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean,
Look at your
you
buddy
can look on the
Andrew.
news, right? He builds cabinets, and well, I say he builds them. He designs them to go in these homes, and the people that are building the homes, the companies, are telling him to make them cheaper. We're trying to get the prices down,
Right.
and that's a little bellwether too. You know, if they're doing that already, because they know, you know, what is mortgages is over 7% now.
Mortgage interest rates have gone way up. Yep.
So that's less house that people can afford, and it usually starts with like cabinets and stuff like that.
does.
They make, because you can blow a lot of money on cabinets.
Yes, you can.
So that's one of the things people are going to be doing without, along with a lot of other things. So
This is interesting. So this is what I started kind of paying attention to, are the trickle-down effects. So it's not just one particular item. And it kind of starts with the permits, and then maybe builders purchasing property and different things like that. Then I started hearing, well, building material. I started hearing phone calls that were starting to come in from building material. Lenders, obviously we've talked about that. Lenders, they are saying we cannot, we can't get these loans through by the time we approve them, and then we go to closing. One, they either have their credits shot because they went and bought something that they shouldn't have, or two, they can't afford that interest rate anymore. So the deals are falling apart. There was a broker I talked to the other day. His agents are literally leaving the business, trying to find other jobs so that they can make it through this. The broker himself stated, I am doing property management to hopefully that I can get through this, whatever you want to call it, recession, depression, hyperinflation, stagflation, whatever you want to call it. He said, hopefully so on the other end, I still will have something at the other end. I had an agent from Oklahoma, same thing, just trying to do a side hustle to get through.
that's important to note that it was a broker. Most brokers are gung-ho, real estate nonstop. It's never going down. That's how they make their living, and they're going to push it forever. So when they start coming out saying, "Hey, I'm making a side hustle. I'm doing things to get ready," because I never get those comments anymore. Real estate's never going down comments. I never get them anymore, and I did for a long time.
We did.
So it's starting to be obvious. And let me know if you disagree with me. I would appreciate you putting it in the comments why you think that real estate will never go down and it'll only go up.
Sure.
With high interest rates. You know.
Yeah. No, I love hearing from different opinions.
I
Here's
get
one
outside
thing
the
I didn't
box.
think about, and someone actually called in, are the 9/11 addresses. They have
That's a
gone
good one.
down. So normally when builders, because we did the same thing when we built out here, we had to go get a 9/11 address. And so I'm talking to some of these people that's what they do, and their business has gone way down.
They
So
actually issue
they
the
actually
address.
issue the 9/11 addresses, and they said we could not keep up. 2 years ago? They're literally sitting there, just sitting there. So it's another trickle-down effect. It's all these little things just to pay attention to.
I mean, we're expecting layoffs, right?
Well, they're scared of that, but I'd like to read something. This is actually that video you did yesterday, which was really good. I just finally got to listen to it. It was a really good video. But a comment on here, and this is from a subscriber, so this is real news, this is real what's happening. Said, my husband has worked in the super yacht industry for over a decade. All his bosses are billionaires. And Chris, you've mentioned so many times, listen to what the billionaires are doing. Watch what they're doing. We're not financial advisors. That's what we do. We watch and listen to what
Yeah,
they're
they
doing.
leave clues.
Yeah, they leave clues. You
Watch
just
the
gotta,
people with all the money.
Yeah. She said, all of my husband's friends also work for super yacht. They're billionaires. I can tell you that the billionaires are definitely cutting back on expenses. Gone are the days when everything is approved and maintenance-wise without question. No more unlimited champagne and caviar for guests. Some are even liquidating their private jets. Some billionaires that I know have started transferring ownerships of their yachts into new companies just so they can offload excess staff without financial penalties. New management contracts where they're creating less benefits, and we've talked about this where several companies have created new contracts. And well, we heard from a really big carrier that does mail, we won't mention who, but have a new CEO, have slashed budgets,
Yeah, that's a big deal too.
creating morale issue.
They cut them 65%, I think, and it really, man, that kind of stuff is happening all over.
is.
And by the way, speaking of yachts, I totally intend on owning a yacht one day.
You do.
Can you imagine, just for a second, how many people that can just barely afford a yacht that have one?
That's true.
How many people that can barely afford that airplane that most people that have to worry about fuel to put in the yacht to take it out, because we tried.
We looked at it at
I
one
wanted to
time.
buy one too, but I couldn't afford it really. When we first got married, I really wanted a yacht, and so just think about how many people are this close to just having that luxury, that when the prices do really come down, because that kind of item, they'll come down drastically, they'll be in the red.
Yeah.
And they'll, repossessions, that kind of thing. And me and Economic Ninja actually talked about having a harbor, slips for these yachts and renting them out when people need a place to stay. And you're also mobile.
True.
You could jump on it and take off. So that's another something I've been thinking
So,
about. So I absolutely,
yacht. I like that idea.
Yeah,
I think I'd
plan
look
on
good
it.
with my hat on the yacht.
I think so too.
All right, talking about repos and all that. Sorry, this is a serious subject. I shouldn't joke because there's a lot of people.
Well, we're going to take
affected by it.
advantage of it. Somebody's got to be there to buy the stuff that people are belly up on.
True.
There's so many people right now. This is the anecdotal evidence I was talking about, that have new cars, new houses, new boats, new everything, and it's like, wow, man, you guys don't. It's just they're not paying attention. It's like, this is the time to be bracing. This is the time to take money off your cards. Hugh Henry, the other day, I was listening to him, and that's where I got in my last video, I said, you're licking honey off a razor blade.
I heard that.
I thought that was a very good analogy of people that are staying in the market. They're still doing that, buying the dip, buying new cars, and all this. Why not? Why not just take a little off and just kind of watch things for a little bit? Why be all invested, all in on everything right now? That's just kind of.
Nope. Well, you guys have actually called and asked us why we personally sold our rental properties. We do have one still. It is debt free, possibly doing a line of credit against it. I'm seeing what the odds are. But we did. We sold with it. Everything we say that we're doing, and we're watching other people do, the rich people. We're trying to brace and do that. But
well, I mean, but nobody told us to.
No.
I didn't learn from any of the billionaires that
this is something we
it's
went
time
with.
to sell real estate. But when you start seeing them tighten up, and you start seeing food prices go up, and you start seeing repos, these car repos.
That's what we'll talk about next.
You start seeing all these things like, wow, the landlord is usually the first one that doesn't get paid. So that was, a calculated risk that I wanted to get out, and real estate might explode. I'm not for sure. Nothing's 100% sure, but there's only probabilities. There is no certainty. So that's what we did. One of the ways we're bracing, we took one of our bags and made it smaller.
Right.
So you guys always want to know what we're doing, and that is one of the things that we've done lately. And that was a big move. That was putting our money where our mouth was.
Yeah, no, it is. And because like he said, we've been looking at the trend of what's going on. And one of them is, so people start paying their credit cards. Well, now they've stopped paying their auto loans. It's up like 33%. And I actually did some stats, and I think you have some
I got
too.
a few.
So they said year to date, the monthly note was around $623. Today it's $733, and that's only what you're talking about $100. But then your insurance prices are going up also. And then they said if you go all the way back to 2017, it was only $500. So there has been an increase, and a lot of the people that are getting these mortgages or their credit score is 620 and below. One of the first things they start doing is stop paying the credit cards, and then they start paying the car note. So a lot of these, they're being repoed. Now, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the auction. Are we seeing an uptick in auctions?
I actually looked at the auction here yesterday. Copart's got a big auction house here, and it's hard to see it. There's,
right.
I don't really have much to compare to, but I know Barron's did a story on it. They said there's two things. Barron's the car people.
Right.
There's two things happening. Defaults on auto loans leading to repossessions have doubled for prime borrowers. Mm-hmm. Those with good credit scores and a growing number of defaults are from loans taking out in 2020 or 2021. So, and another subline, repossessions are up 11% according to, I can't pronounce this, Jolopianak. Anyway, the important thing to know is from 2021, 2020, that's where the loans originated.
Right.
And now we're starting to see the repos. So what's going on there? I mean, is it the inflation is just now really starting to kick in, where food prices and everything going up, because a lot of these people that I see have these diesel trucks that they use a lot of fuel,
right.
and diesel's over $5 a gallon, it's $8 a gallon some places. I mean, that would make me want to not pay my overpriced truck note that's probably $1,200 or $1,500 a month. That's just ridiculous to me. It's hard to imagine a truck note like that. I've never had one.
So I read somewhere, and I cannot say this is true, I don't have any proof, but back in when the whole what happened and we started getting these stimulus checks and all that, I heard a lot of people took that and went and put it on new vehicles and different things like that. Well, now all of a sudden we're not getting all that free money. Well, as of right now we're not. Maybe, I don't know if it'll happen again, but a lot of these people wages have not gone up. If you look at inflation, true inflation, when you go to the grocery store, interest rates are going up, all the arms are coming due for all these house mortgages. Everything is creeping up. Your insurance, your house insurance, your car insurance, all that is going up. We just talked about the other day, we switched again because our insurance was going up again. So we have to shop around and see if we can find, we try to do it every 3 years or so. So all these things are steadily increasing. And I think that they just can't, so they stop with the credit cards. They're not going to stop buying food. They're not, so they're going to stop paying their car. And the next thing you know, they're going to start paying their house mortgage or their rent. And it just seems like that's the pattern. Whether it is or not, we'll see.
They're not going to stop buying food.
No.
And as those prices come up, and really these stimmy checks coming out, that's great in the beginning. But what does that do for all the other prices? It makes everything else go up. Yep. It makes, we give you money, but, it goes over here and it makes these prices go up.
It does.
It's really
people have depleted their savings. Now they've moved to credit cards. And these are facts. These are stats. This is stuff we're watching every day. Or I say every day, but we try to watch at least a couple times a week.
Yeah,
we try
every day.
Pretty much every day, I guess.
I try to notice everything. Everywhere I go, I try to learn something, whether it be the grocery store or anywhere. And I'm telling you, people are overextended. They've got their head in the sand. And we'll talk about, in the next video, we'll probably talk about how to approach those people. If you really care for that person, they're not paying attention. Some things you can say and do that might help them open their eyes.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. Here's some solutions. Get out of debt. Trim the fat. Get in your phone. Cut out the subscriptions that you're not using or you can do without. Start saving as much money as possible. Sell things that you're not using. As you hold on to them, they might get a little harder to sell. I actually have been I sold a motorcycle. I'm about to sell another motorcycle. It's just kind of a keepsake for me. But I'm not using it, and, I could put that money into something a little bit harder that would hold value, something else. And it doesn't have to be precious metals. It could be, something else. Just I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to do videos about things, and I'm going to let you make up your own mind. But get out of
Yeah, so, and also, we'll get out of debt. But I also want to recommend, sorry, before you say, tell everybody have an awesome, awesome day, because that's your saying. You guys check on your mom and dad, check on your grandparents. Please do that. I cannot tell you the number of people that call me, and they're like, we mention certain things, just like the banks can take your savings, they're like, oh man, my grandparents have money sitting there. I never even thought about it. They haven't even touched it in years. You guys don't be afraid to call. I call my mom and dad all the time. I'm like, Mom, how are you guys doing? What's going on with Dad's pension? Are you guys, check on it, what's going on with it, what are you guys doing with this? And I know it's getting in their business a little bit.
What is the downside?
Well, they're my parents. I want to take care of them.
You got to. I reached out to one of my family members, and I knew he had quite a bit in the bank, and I said, hey, gold's looking down. He's like, oh, wow, it is down. And he moved into some hard assets.
We were able
to
help him.
Pulled it out of a brokerage account. And he, moved into something a little bit harder. That kind of stuff always does good in a volatile environment. So that is absolutely right. Guys, look after your elderly. Yep. Look after and even the people that aren't paying attention, look after them anyway. They're going to thank you. They're going to thank you for doing, for looking out. Even though if they don't really like it or they don't want to think about it, when it happens and you're that guy that said, hey, just look at this, think about it. You try to bring it up, not put it in their face. But I'll save that for the next video.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Guys, have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you in the next one. Later.